There are a lot of new, massively multiplayer online role-playing games coming out this year. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, we gathered up the top 20 new MMORPGs you should pay attention to in 2021. Starting off at number 20, it is Odin Valhalla Rising, a Norse mythology MMO that looks like it borrows a lot from Black Desert Online. It's coming to the PC and mobile, and from the looks, its main selling point is an extremely large open world based on a lot of Norse mythology. Obviously, the trailer looks really pretty, and if the game looks like that, that's of course going to be really impressive. Odin Valhalla Rising is launching sometime in 2021 for mobile and PC. At number 19, Final Fantasy XI is getting story expansions this year. There was a lot they were actually attempting to do with the game, but the pandemic forced them to work from home, and this slowed down progress on everything. However, for fans of the Final Fantasy MMO that has been going strong for nearly 20 years, it looks like they're raring up for the anniversary with some new content. Final Fantasy XI is currently available for PC, and the expansion is coming sometime this year. At number 18 is Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, which is a total reboot without wiping out any of the old content. Now, New Genesis features a new graphics engine and tons of updates to the game, as well as a parallel open world, which you can switch between the original world and the New Genesis one. This has been a game that's been going pretty strong since 2012 in Japan, and a lot of people spend a lot of time on it. We don't have an exact date, but New Genesis is coming sometime this year. At number 17 is Project TL, an MMO sequel to the first Lineage game. Lineage is pretty old at this point. It came out way back in 1998, putting it among some of the older MMORPGs out there. The original was a top-down isometric Diablo-style game, and it should be interesting to see what they do with it. Now, info's pretty sparse, but supposedly we're seeing it sometime this year.
Number 16
is Embersword, an independent MMORPG that apparently attempts to do something other than exploit its players via microtransactions. The big selling point of this game is that it is actually using the blockchain to run a quote-unquote real economy in which various artists in-game will be able to monetize various creations they'll create inside the MMORPG and sell to other players. It's got a nice, colorful, minimalist aesthetic to it. I think it looks like quite a bit of fun, and if the in-game economy works out, it might end up being a model you see a lot more of in the future. You can pre-register for Embersword now at embersword.com. They do not have a release date, but claim it will be out this year. At number 15 is Corepunk, somewhere between Ultima Online, Diablo, and Cyberpunk. Corepunk is a top-down MMORPG, which attempts to synthesize various different themes from science fiction with a fog of war system and PvP battles. Corepunk was recently delayed to spring 2021. We don't have an exact date, but look out for it. At number 14 is Mad World, a post-apocalyptic game which plays in your browser with large boss raids and a classless weapon-based combat system. The thing the developers are boasting about is the detail that all of the different characters have in terms of lore, as well as the grotesque art style that they've chosen for the game. It is a very unique looking game, I have to give it that, and features a lot of looting, farming, and mining. This is a game that has a target release of 2021. I think it's got a lot of promise, and I'm pretty interested in it. At number 13 is Project BBQ, an online dungeon fighting anime driven PC action RPG that is also massively multiplayer. Now this game looks a lot like a hack and slash to me, however there is a lot more magic involved than what you might expect, and it has a pretty cool looking sprawling open world. There's stuff that looks to me kind of like a cross between Devil May Cry and a more arcadey version of Dark Souls maybe. It looks like a pretty cool game. Project BBQ is coming out sometime this year. At number 12 is Ashes of Creation, an MMORPG built in Unreal Engine 4, which comes to us from Intrepid Studios. The game is built by creating actions that have permanent consequences, where you explore, trade, and build in order to shape the world. Ashes of Creation is coming out sometime this year on PC. At number 11, it is Blue Protocol, another anime MMORPG based around magic and a big sprawling open world that looks, to be frank, a lot like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is a Bandai Namco game, so it does have a fully voiced main questline, but again, there is a lot of PvE raids. However, currently, PvP doesn't seem to be on the agenda. Originally, this game was going to be coming on December 31st to the PC, but obviously, it didn't. Supposedly, this is a Q1 Q1 2021 release, but we will see. We do not have a current date. At number 10 is Chrono Odyssey, an MMORPG that takes place all around time and space. It comes to us from NPixel, who is best known for DK Online and Seven Knights, and has a music composer who worked on God of War, StarCraft, and Overwatch. It's got an interesting look to it that I didn't immediately realize it wasn't a Square game, especially given the name being Chrono Odyssey. It is not though. It is coming to PC, iOS, and Android sometime this year. At number 9 is Wild Terra 2 New Lands, a medieval life simulating MMORPG built around crafting, like doing blacksmith work or fishing or being a doctor, etc., etc. There's a lot to do in this game, but there's also raids and sieges, clans and groups. It's a pretty ambitious game that has an early access release date of January 28th. At number 8 is Crowfall, an MMORPG real-time strategy game, which it describes itself as a throne war simulator. Basically, the point is to explore a map, manage resources, and fight against a force called the Hunger. Honestly, it looks like it has a few curveballs in terms of mechanics, but I obviously also haven't played it, but there's a lot of stuff about it that seems at least a little different to me. I'm interested in seeing how it pulls together when it releases on Windows later in the year. At number 7 is Elion Ascent Infinite Realm, a game that places two realms against each other, supposedly chaining various skill combinations in what it's calling a non-targeting system. They are doing a closed beta now, and it definitely looks like a different kind of game. There is faction versus faction gameplay, and a lot of character customization. We do not know exactly when it's landing, but it will be landing on the PC sometime this year. At number 6 is Lost Ark, a Korean MMORPG, which basically uses action RPG style combat and a big open world that has been beta testing in Korea for quite a while now, and will be landing at some point in North America sometime this year. Back in 2019, this game won several awards in various categories at the Korea Game Awards, and it offers a constantly evolving world that comes in through various updates. Lost Ark is landing in North America sometime this year. At number 5 is Magic Legends, a game based in Magic the Gathering. Magic Legends has actually had a bit of a story development. It was supposed to come out last year, but hasn't, and got pushed back to spring this year. It is an MMORPG, again, based in Magic the Gathering. It does have a fairly ambitious source material, obviously, but it's also one of those games where we really need to see how it plays in order to really give you a judgment on it. At number 4 is Hightail, a sandbox MMORPG, which is intended to not only give you RPG stuff with combat and an open world, but also the ability to build by block-based construction, kind of like Minecraft, but also have a lot more to it with the 3D modeling, texturing, and animation toolkit they've made called Craft Studio, which makes custom assets for the game. This is a game that's going to have PvP, but also has a lot more going for it. It's coming to Windows sometime this year. At number 3 is Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, an MMORPG that takes place on a high fantasy world in which many different realms are forced together to create a kind of very fractured looking environment. This is a game that puts a lot of emphasis on the social aspects of the game and has you working with a lot of other players to defeat enemies more so than each other. Pantheon Rise of the Fallen is coming to Windows. The date this year is yet to be announced though. At number 2 is Crimson Desert, a game that was originally planned to be a prequel to Black Desert Online. Pearl Abyss, the developers, have set this game for winter, and it will probably look and feel at least a little bit like Black Desert Online. They have gone the other way with several various story ideas, so to try to differentiate, but it does take place in the same universe. Pearl Abyss is hitting Windows, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X, probably in the winter. And at number 1 is New World, an Amazon Game Studios MMORPG that is going to be a sandbox game in the Amazon Lumberyard engine, in which you form groups of up to 5 members, level up, explore, participate in an economy. It's set on a fictional island in the Atlantic Ocean and is set to release first quarter 2021 to Microsoft Windows. That's all for today. What do you think? Are you going to play any of these games? Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. Click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on gameranx.